Okay, so before we let's just go through the mechanics of removing these programs. So basically I'm going to type in settings. Let's go to the settings. And here in settings we go to system. This is where our apps are. And we're going to go in here and choose apps and features. And here we can start blowing away these things. So I typically can sort by size. Some of these apps are extremely large. So we'll start with the Microsoft Office 365 uninstall. Okay. And we'll continue. Once this is done, I'm going to just stop this. Basically, I'll come back when this is done because this may require a reboot as well. I hope not. I'll talk to you in a minute. Okay, so yes, it's pretty clear that Office wants to reboot the machine to finish the uninstallation. So we'll come back and do that soon. Let's move on now and let's uninstall Google Chrome. I use Firefox though. So I don't need this Google Chrome. It's just a monster. Let's get rid of this font pack. That's not necessary for now. I know maybe perhaps you're believing that what we're doing is probably causing some trouble. I mean, reduce productivity, but in reality the question is, do you really use these things? If you don't use them as a course of your activities on your machine, then they're just there to waste resources. This is the reason behind this approach. So I'm going to just get rid of all of these things that I do not use and do not need. And we shall see the impact. Just a minute. I don't need this OneDrive thing, goodness gracious. Let's get rid of that. And these are large applications, as you can see. Oh my goodness, Java. Goodbye to you. Oh my gosh, that's always suffering with Java. There's got to be more parts of Office. Still, there are lots of things here. Definitely. I'm gonna hang on to that for a little bit longer here. This Xbox, I don't need that either. But okay, we've removed the majority of these large applications. So let's do the reboot and let's try this again. Let's try this the benchmarks again and check other things as well. Okay, we're back, and yes, we did have a long reboot. Lots of things happening, I'm sure. So now let's take a look and see. Okay, so all of these icons are left. We can just delete them. They are no longer needed. But what if I need them? Well, you know if you need them or not. At this time it's not my intent to direct you this way. I just want to show you we've cleaned up a lot of activities here, and we want to now go in and if you notice, all of those applications have been removed. So we sorted by size, and now you can see Nova Bench looks like the biggest thing. But here just device drivers are remaining, as well as some other there's a few other little things here, but in general, and we'll go through and actually look at removing many more of these things in the next step. But for now, what I wanted to do is let's take a look at Task Manager and let's understand what's going on with the system right now. There was an update that was executed, and what we can see though is a very small amount of use of CPU usage now. So this is very good sign. As you can see, we have a 96-97% idle process. Our goal is 100% if possible. Everything else is very low. So these are much smaller numbers if you remember you can go back to the other video to see it. But see, here's my CPU utilization. So we're down to very little CPU utilization. In fact, the machine is going into speed step reduction because it doesn't need all this extra performance. So I hope now you can see there's some methods, some meaning coming here, that we actually are achieving our objectives. Now let's run another Nova Bench just to see what kind of result, now that we don't have so many things competing with the system. You remember this last score. So here we go, starting the test. And hopefully this will give us some indication, some positive indication that we are making improvements to the system, even though we have removed a lot of software, which you might argue, well, we need this software, but at this point, on this machine, I do not need this software. But obviously, the improvements we're including here hopefully will give us some indication that we're moving in the right direction. It's like 17 frames per second, 18 frames per second. So there we go. 944 is our new score, and that is an improvement. If you consider 944 compared to 871, it's about a 60 point, 70 point improvement at boot up. So I don't know if we can expect this to continue to improve as the system stabilizes, or if the system needs so much time to stabilize. Notice that we already confirmed the system was basically, we're seeing very small CPU utilization right now. So I guess, like, right now I'm very happy with this very large system idle process. this low CPU utilization, which is allowing our speed step to occur, so we're saving power, and overall it's creating a much more responsive machine. So I want to thank you for bearing with this process so far. We've looked at the applications. We still want to get this higher to almost 100% and get this number as a maximum. The system idle process should be the overwhelmingly absorption of engine, basically CPU power. So in our next episode, we will again take another look at this. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.